Hello, this is my review of the Ambitful AL-16. 3 years ago, I did an unboxing and a test for a friend, and I thought it'd make an interesting video. I apologize for all the sensor dust. I didn't think anybody else would see these photos. Alright, let's get started. Like a lot of Chinese products, it's sold under various different names. For example, here's one called Intellitech. I started seeing this for sale in late 2018, and I bought mine a year later on Amazon. Note that it's $270. If you find it cheaper, it's probably not the whole kit. Pay attention to what's included. You know what? This actually isn't the full kit anymore. Apparently you can unscrew the original projector lens and replace it with a Canon or Nikon mount. That's pretty damn cool. That wasn't available when I originally ordered this. Anyway, this is called a focus spot attachment or a focusable snoot. They've been around for maybe 50 years, if not longer. In the old days, they'd just take the back off an ellipsoidal like this one and replace it with a reflector so you could mount a strobe onto it. Then Bowens came out with a compact unit with a projector lens. I could be wrong, but I think this was the first one, and it's what everybody's copying now. Anyway, let's move on. The AL-16 clocks in at 2 pounds, 12 ounces. If you're not as civilized as us American imperialists, that's 1¼ kg. Let's take a closer look at the construction. The inside appears to be a straight can. At the end is what looks like an opal or etched glass to diffuse the light. The front features a lens that can be focused by turning the end barrel. The barrel extends when focusing, and there's grease on the exposed portion. It'll trap dust over time. I had a Manfrotto Neotech for about a decade, and I just wipe it down with a clean cotton rag and spread dielectric grease on it. In the US, you can get a small packet for under $1 at any auto shop. Depending on the kit you order, it may come with a speed ring of your choice. I ordered the kit with a Bowens speed ring insert, but it does come in a Profoto, Elinchrom, and Broncolor variant. If you have a make and model not supported, you can always buy a generic insert. The speed ring measures 152 millimeters wide. I can confirm this is the exact Bowens speed ring sold under the name Photoconic. I happen to own one. So this is the basic Ambitful AL-16 bundle that you commonly find. As I said earlier, it's a bit cheaper than the full kit. It comes with a spot attachment, speed ring, gobo set, colored plastic discs, and a holder insert. There are 2 other parts included in the full kit I bought. If you've ever worked in film or stage lighting, you know this as a shutter insert. Ambitful calls this a geometric shape adjuster. The one on the right is an iris insert. Ambitful calls this an adjuster aperture ring. I just realized I'm showing you these upside down. The handle should be pointing up because you drop these down from the top of the unit. I think I took photos of that and I'll show you later. First, let's talk about each one. These are the colored plastic discs I received. You get RGB, CMY with a dash of O and V. I'd rather buy the exact gel I need, but if you're not picky, these work surprisingly well. If you do want to use them, remember to peel the clear film off first. A hot light or a halogen modeling lamp could melt it into a gooey gunk, and it could even catch fire. So be careful. Here are the included set of gobos. You can see my fingerprints stain them as I laid them out. Now I recognized this gobo right away. I've actually used it on a photo shoot before. It's a GAM 562 arch with steps. GAM is an acronym for Great American Market. They merged with Roscoe around 2013. Here's the GAM 562 arch with steps. Just to be clear, it's not real or licensed. They used a stolen laser cut pattern. Ambitful sells additional gobo packs, but I urge anybody watching not to buy them. Chinese companies should not and cannot be rewarded for theft. If you feel the same way, here are some measurements to keep in mind. The exterior width is 60 millimeters, but I think you can get away with 58 millimeters in the holder. The widest interior image diameter on all of these is about 40 millimeters. That rules out using the common standards like size A, B, and M. I'm thinking a size D might work, although I'd have to gap it to the insert. They aren't common, at least not in the United States. If anybody's interested, I'll order some from Germany and test them on the insert. Here is a shot of a gobo hanging off a magnet. I thought they might be aluminum, but I guess they're steel, and that's why I took this photo. Okay, let's move on. Actually, you know what? Let's stop here for a second. Okay, I'm back. Earlier, I saw this picture when looking up my Amazon purchase. Notice the retention ring that holds the colored disc? I assume this screws onto the projection lens. My unit didn't come with this, and there were no instructions, so I never knew I was missing anything. I've been using the colored discs the wrong way this entire time. Since I didn't have the retainer ring, I thought you were supposed to put the gobo and plastic disc in the insert at the same time. I mean, it does work as long as you put the gobo in first and the disc on top. Don't do it the other way around like I did the first time. Can you see how the gobo warps around the disc? That's bad. You want it perfectly flat for projection. And of course, if you're missing the retention ring also, you can use the plastic disc on its own in the insert. Here is the drop-in iris. It's half open. You can see it's the same as the gobo holder. They just screwed a 14-blade iris mechanism onto it. Not a bad thing at all. You end up with 3 gobo holders, which is useful if you have to swap colors and patterns a lot. Fully closed, the iris insert yields a pinhole. Wide open, it's a tad larger than the internal diameter of the gobo holder. This is the shutter insert. You push and pull and tilt the 4 handles to create whatever quadrilateral shape you want. I thought I'd use it a lot, but I still ended up flagging on set with black foam core. Okay, it took me a while to figure out why I had taken this picture. When you drop the shutter insert into the unit, pull the handles into the halfway position and make a narrow X like I did here. It'll slide down into the unit easily this way. If the handles protrude out more or if they're into the sides, they'll hit some screws and they won't drop in all the way. Also, when you install this on your light, make sure to do so in the correct orientation. Do you see these screw caps? They make a triangle shape. Always make sure it's pointing downward. This will ensure you can easily drop your inserts into the unit. And when you do, make sure they slide into these grooves and make sure the gobo is facing the back of the unit and not forward towards the lens. If you do it backwards or misalign it, you'll end up with fuzzy projections. Let's look at some actual projections. Here's a window pane. It's stolen from the old magmod standard gobo kit. They're a company that launched on Kickstarter in 2013 and they're still around. And here's how it looks completely out of focus. This is an orb gobo. This is also stolen from magmod. This gobo is a bit more interesting out of focus. Anyway, let's play with the colored plastic discs. Here's a tree gobo with a green disc in focus. This is stolen from Roscoe. It's a 77100 tree number 2 gobo. Here is a flare gobo with a purple disc. Again, stolen from Magmod. This is a wave gobo with a yellow disc. Stolen from, oh, you guessed it, Magmod. Okay, so I just took a break and checked the Magmod site to see if they still sell these gobos, and sure enough they do. All the gobos with red stars are Magmod designs. I also checked the old Magmod Kickstarter campaign, and they do mention making their kits in China. I think manufacturing your novel products there is a calculated risk to save money and brand yourself before knockoffs flood the market, but I don't think they expected to see their gobo designs bundled with a completely different product. Anyway, this is the iris insert with the aperture closed halfway. Just a quick reminder of what we're talking about here. This is the iris insert. You move this lever back and forth to change the size of the aperture. So back to this shot, which is closed just beyond the hole in the insert. Remember, it's the aperture blades that will give you the sharp edge, so you can't just flick this open as wide as possible. You'll need those blades to block the light. If we move that stick to the center position, the circle closes further and you can clearly see it's a polygon and not a sharp circle. I think it's fine, it's close enough to a clean circle, and most people use this out of focus anyway. If you need a sharp, in focus, perfect circle, maybe try an old water stop or donut. They did include the Magmod spot in the kit though. It looks like I took a photo of the Magmod spot gobo. You can see it's a perfect circle, unlike the iris insert. If we close the iris as far as it will go, we get a pinhole. This is the shutter insert. I tried to make a right trapezoid here, which didn't quite work out. This one is a little bit better. Remember, for some reason I was using a speed light, specifically a Metz M400, and I didn't have a modeling lamp. I have no idea why I was using a speed light instead of my studio pack and head, but whatever. So I found some old deteriorated slide film from the early 80s of my mom and dad. I used gaffer tape to attach it and it looks okay. I had an old 2000 watt second Norman tri-light that projected trannies like this, but I never really found a use for it. This is another stolen Magmod gobo called Dream with a red disc. There's a reason I'm coming back to gobos. I placed this Ambitful AL-16 about 40 inches behind a roll of heavyweight Savage Translum, which are thick styrene sheets. Savage's markup for this is insane. I used to buy rolls from a sign shop near my studio for a quarter of the price. Anyway, if you're using this to project onto a background, this is probably how you'd want to do it. I measured 40 inches from the translum to the front of the strobe, not the modifier, but the front of the strobe. From 40 inches away, I got a projection that's about 20 inches. Remember, this is a compact unit. There's no ability to increase or decrease the size of the projection without moving the entire light stand back and forth. If you don't have a lot of space, don't expect that you'll be able to light an entire background. That said, spots like this are mostly used for product shots or to highlight something on a model. So, was it worth it? I paid $280 and you can see it's dropped to $269 after a few years. Yes, it's worth it, despite the stolen gobos. No major manufacturer of modifiers or lights makes one anymore. However, there are other Chinese variants now, and some of them are rebranded by companies like Raleigh and Westcott. I think if they come with a warranty, it could be worth buying those versions. Okay, I'm finally done. If you found this useful, let me know. I know I'm not the best at this and my microphone sucks, but hopefully I'll get better with each video. Thank you for watching.